You ever wonder how pros can make the pentatonic scale sound so musical while your solos sound like you're going up and down a pattern? Maybe you know the scale, but you don't know how to make music with it, so you're stuck playing the same old licks over the same backing tracks. Well, let's fix that right now. After a decade of playing live music and now teaching other players how to understand what they're doing on the fretboard, I've noticed something. Intermediate players make the same mistakes over and over again, and it's holding them back. So I'm going to show you the top 5 mistakes I see them making and how to fix each one of them so you can start sounding like a musician and not some guy running up and down scales. Mistake number 1 is not creating phrases when you're soloing. So when you go to solo, you're just thinking about notes maybe, right? Like, but you're not thinking about adding phrases or pauses into what you're playing. And a phrase is just like a lick, kind of, right? Like, that could be a phrase. It's just saying something with your guitar playing. And the way you do that is by utilizing your chord tones over what you're playing. So say we're playing an A minor to a D, this is a D dominant 9, which is middle finger on the 5th fret of the A string, pointer finger on the 4th fret of the D, and then I'm barring 5th fret on the D, G, and B. So that little phrase there, what I play. What I was doing there is just playing almost exclusively the notes in the chord. The only note that wasn't in the chord was this. This D, actually that is in the chord. And then I bent it up to being the 9. And then that goes down into the A minor, because that note's also in our A minor here. It is our 5 of A minor. So it's important when you're playing to try and think of phrases, and the way you do that, like I said, using your chord tones and having pauses in your playing. Like if when you're playing, you're just going like, there's no phrases. It's just notes, and that gets boring to listen to pretty quickly. Whereas if you're varying the rhythm and adding pauses into what you're playing, it brings a lot more life into what you're playing. And mistake number 2 is not echoing those phrases. So a lot of players, even if they are making phrases, aren't going off of their own ideas. And what do I mean by that? Well, it's kind of like having a conversation with yourself. So let's go back to that first phrase. So right there, I'm just repeating that phrase and then coming up with a response lick that changes every time. So that's a pretty good method to go about figuring this out, is just coming up with a phrase to repeat and then trying to respond to it in between every time you repeat it. So think of it literally like talking to yourself. Like if someone said, like I would even not think about it on the guitar. What would you say back? It can be like basic like that. Just think about how you would respond to it to make it sound like a conversation. And this is a great way to play when you're playing with other people too, but getting this idea into your own playing is huge for making it sound like music and not like you're just playing notes. Mistake number 3 is not being rhythmic enough in your lead playing. For example, let's go back to that same progression here. Let's say you're playing that progression and you're not thinking about the rhythm of what's going on there. Then when you're going to play lead lines over it, you might just start trying to play really fast, or like doing like hammer-on pull-offs, like just trying to play notes in a scale. Whereas if you're really focusing on that rhythm, you can just keep your lead playing basically being rhythm playing. I don't even really think of lead playing and rhythm playing as two different things. It's just different sides of the skill set. So when you go to play lead, don't forget the rhythm that you're playing over. Like, the rhythm of that's very like smooth. So when I go to play lead over that, that's what I'm thinking. Like, so doing that, even playing the rhythm and the chords at the same time, if you can wrap your hands around it, is a great way to make sure your lead playing becomes rhythmic, because you have to be able to play rhythm and lead at the same time. And I think a great way to go about that is to just grab one chord. Like, say we're on A minor 7, which is literally barring the whole 5th fret except for the A string, basically. Just play it and then play a lead line and then play it again. And as you get more comfortable with that, you can start to add in chord changes, but I would really just start playing one chord, as doing the chord changes is going to be really hard if you're not comfortable doing it on one chord yet. And this is also a technique that it's helpful to already be pretty comfortable playing lead lines and playing rhythms separately, because otherwise it becomes very hard to put them together. By the way, if you want to be around other guitar players that are putting the work into hitting their goals, join my free community link down below. I only accept players that are putting the time into their practicing, and I give out free advice on how to hit your goals, so I'll see you in there. Mistake number 4 is thinking that the key is king. And what do I mean by that? Well, you go to the jam session, you hear a track, and you're like, oh, what key is this in? And you stop there. So say it's in A major, right? What are you doing once you know it's in A major? Well, a lot of players are probably just going like, oh, what's the minor in that? Oh, I can play F sharp pentatonic, okay. And then just like playing pentatonic notes, no matter what's going on. It could be like, you're still just going like, and the key is a helpful piece of information to have, right? I don't want you to think that you shouldn't know the key of a track, but an additional piece you can add on to that makes it infinitely more beneficial to your lead playing is also knowing all of the chords. So what was I playing there? I was playing A, and then F major 7, and I was doing like a C sharp major 7 into C major 7. So when you're playing over a backing track or a song or jamming with the buddies, figuring out what notes are in all those chords makes it much easier. Now this is pretty, I don't say it's a straightforward progression because we have this one chord that's not really in the key, it's borrowed, but 3 of the chords are the exact same shape. So all you really have to get down, we're supposed to be in A major, well we're in A minor now I guess, too bad. So you only have to get down one set of the shapes to get started with this. You don't have to learn them across the whole fretboard just to get going, because that's a lot of work, right? So I would learn this A minor, say, oh, what notes are in that? Literally just play the notes individually. And then, oh, F major 7, oh, what notes are in that? And then C sharp major 7, oh, what notes are in that? And then C major 7, oh, what notes are in that? And when you sit with it for a second and go around with it like that, then you can start to use those notes as the root of what you're playing. So if I was to go over the progression, I'm just focusing on the notes in the chords. So the key isn't king, the chords are king. Mistake number 5 is thinking in boxes instead of sounds. And this is a trap a lot of us guitar players fall into because we learn the boxes because we want to be able to play guitar. And I do think that learning your scales is very valuable. I would never tell you not to do that. But I also think when it comes to improvising, we should be thinking in sounds, not scales or boxes. Because at the end of the day, we're playing music, right? We're not trying to run scales. So if we're sitting there looking at the scale saying, oh, what notes can I play? You're immediately limiting yourself because you're thinking about playing a scale. Whereas if you're playing a chord progression and you start thinking like, like try and think of the ideas in your head and then find them. Don't even think about the guitar. Like, you might feel like an idiot while you're doing that, but at the end of the day, like, we're just making noise, having a good time. It doesn't really matter, right? So the way to solve that problem is kind of ignoring the guitar entirely and just thinking about the ideas with your head. If you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button and check out this video to see how I might be able to help you directly with your guitar playing.